But Tau, here's something that I've been thinking about a little bit. If we get a true alt season, and if Bitcoin rips higher on the correction, on the way back down, which items hold on to their gains and which items don't? That's something that I've been thinking about here. So if you look at something like BNB over time, and this is a weekly, after BNB ripped higher last cycle, it held on to those gains. So it ripped from, $30 to, almost $700. And on the correction, it moved down to 200. But that's still up significantly from where it was before the alt season. So I'm just thinking, okay, if we get a big move higher, which items are likely to hold on to the majority of those gains? I think it's probably the tokens where the underlying protocol is a successful business. I think that those tokens probably give back, quite a bit of the gains if we see an alt season, but I think that they're more likely to hold on to the majority of the gains anyway. So that's definitely something worth thinking about there. What that would look like for ETH would be something like this. If ETH rips to $8,000, let's say, something crazy. Let's say ETH doubles through the rest of this year, just to, get things nice and exuberant up there at 8K. Well, on a correction, does ETH correct down to 5K and hold on to the majority of those gains? Or does it just give it all back and we see it down here at 2K again? I think that it's more likely that if ETH rips higher, and I think that you could, make this analogy for many different assets here, but for ETH, if ETH rips higher on a correction, I think that it corrects, but finds support at higher levels. That's what I'm thinking about here. Not just for ETH, but probably also for Bitcoin too. So if Bitcoin gets some type of crazy move and just pushes higher here to 180, 200,000, something crazy like that, if that happens, well, maybe the correction just brings us back down to 120 rather than bringing us all the way back down to 80 or 90 or something like that. So, which items are going to survive long term? Which items, have protocols where the protocols actually make money? That's what I'm thinking about. And I think that there's very few actually. I
Like
think that
Solana did 255 in the first cycle, dropped to $8.
yeah.
Now, so like
Who
it's
who who was buying Sol at 8, 9, $10 in the group? I know that a couple of you were. Congratulations, man. What a trade. Oh my goodness. Um,
crazy. Like some of them they lose all of theirs. I mean, like there's some exception that they still resurrected from nothing.
yeah, yeah, they did. And now I think it's just a matter of getting rid of that meme coin culture. Maybe not getting rid of it, but not entirely maybe. But I think that Solana will be better served as a chain to have less attention on memes and more attention on tokenized real world assets on Solana. So I'm hopeful that we see, less meme coin TVL on Solana and more RWA TVL on Solana.
except
So
for Doge.
yeah, except for Doge. Doge is a layer one chain.
Correct.
Doge is a layer one. You could actually build something on it if you want to. It looks like, Doge OS purports to be building something on the Doge layer one. So, but that's unique when it comes to memes. Most memes are simply, valueless, speculative items. So, Doge is definitely unique.
Do you see that? How do you see Doge doing in this out season? Maybe compared to ETH, do you think it stands a chance?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, most definitely. If there is true euphoria, then I think Doge could really rip. Now, I saw, if we just take a look at Doge USD, let's see here. If I can get all the data here, there was one analyst who had an interesting chart here, but I don't see it. So if we price Doge, let's say in ETH terms, this is not necessarily what outperformance looks like, but I think that you're probably gambling on some type of alt season if you're holding Doge instead of ETH. So do we see some type of rip higher out of Doge? Probably, probably. Just because it's so accessible. Every centralized exchange
Right.
allows, traders to buy Doge. It's very accessible.
And I
I
also
think
thought
that,
of
yeah.
Doge because it's something that has like a larger market cap and it might have the chance of running and not giving it all back.
Yeah, unless there's like actual utility for Doge, unless, maybe like Elon Musk integrates Doge into X payments or something, like there has to be real utility for it. Because if there is not, then I think even if it rips higher, it
Hmm.
probably just ends up giving it all back, or giving most of it back, maybe.